Hello, welcome back to a new week of cooking. I actually wanted to start this week off with chocolate chip cookies because I've kind of been craving them, and I'm gonna try freshly milled flour chocolate chip cookies. So I've never had these before. I pulled 2 recipes to kind of decide what I wanted to do. So we're gonna try this one and see how it goes. But I have a couple other things planned this week that should be fun, so I'll just bring you along and we'll see how everything turns out this week. I'm sure I'll make some bread, some things like that. So I did pull out my butter and my eggs to come to room temperature. So I'm gonna whip those and get these started.
Is this the last time I can see you in a while? Is it the truth that you'll be living tonight? We should take a walk, then a swim in the sea. That will mean everything, yeah, everything to me. Can we get out of this one? Waiting and missing. I never thought you would leave me here. We can get out of this one. A tunnel of feelings, just like we got through everything else. But I see you, honey. This is in no way funny. We will find our way back together. But right now, there's stormy weather. I see a tear begins to fall from your eyes. It is the truth that you'll be leaving tonight. I will be there with you, even when you are alone.
Pretty good. You wanna taste one on camera?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, they're pretty good. I mean, you can tell they're like freshly milled. Not bad.
Cookie test, taste 1.
Wait, they're freshly milled flour, 100% freshly milled flour, and don't lie.
They're good. They're good.
They are pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell that they're freshly milled and they're not like
Yeah, they're good.
normal flour, but I think they're pretty good.
Yeah. Good job, yay!
Okay, so it is the next day, and I don't know if you can see behind me, but it is absolutely downpouring today. I wanted to surprise my dad and make him some bagels. I've never made bagels before. I've done a little research. Looks to be fairly simple, so I was gonna do that and try to make some bagels, but the weather is so awful. I know there's gonna be like a lot of moisture in the air, so I'm gonna have to really watch them. So I'm still gonna try, but we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna show you really quickly just how bad the rain is outside. The backyard didn't do it justice. So can you see? I mean, it's literally puddling in the front. Like, it is a downpour. So I did a little bit of research when I was looking into the bagels, and what I found was it kind of just looked like a normal bread recipe. I'm gonna warm my water up really quickly. In fact, one of the recipes, just said like use their normal bread recipe. So I'm just gonna use my bread recipe because I know I like it. And then I'm just gonna take that, shape it, and boil it. And I'm just gonna boil it with honey water. So I'm doing my freshly milled flour, and that recipe will be below. But I'm gonna use 340 grams of soft white wheat that I'm gonna mill, and then the last 120 grams of just bread flour. I found doing a mixture like that it really makes like the best of both worlds. Like, you get a really soft bread, but then you also get like so much more of the nutrients from the freshly milled. So I like that 50-50. So I'm just gonna get this in the bread machine, get it going, and I will bring you back when I shape them and boil them. Okay, so my dough has finished its full cycle. I actually let it rise for about 30 more minutes because with freshly milled flour, it takes a little bit longer for it to absorb the moisture. So I just let it sit for an extra 30 minutes. But I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. And I decided, spur of the moment, that I'm going to do 2 different bagels, a plain bagel, and then I'm also going to try a cinnamon sugar. So I'm just going to basically see how much dough this is, cut it in half, and then I'm just gonna put some cinnamon and sugar in it. I'm not doing anything too crazy, just gonna try this to see how it goes. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get them into circles and let them proof for about 30 to 45 minutes, depending, let them double in size. And then once we do that, I will boil them in honey water. I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons in my Dutch oven. Once they boil 1 minute on both sides, then I'll put them in the oven and bake them at 450. And I'll put the recipe below that I'm kind of following as far as like how long to bake the actual bagels. So we're gonna get this started. Good afternoon. I am just going to try to get some things prepared for dinner tonight really quickly. We have leftover salmon from the other night's meal, so I was gonna do some salmon cakes tonight with that. We also have some leftover vegetables and some like cubed potatoes. So I'm gonna try to make this Asian honey garlic potatoes that you saute on the stove. And I'm just gonna make like 2 times as much of the marinade so that I can just use that on the vegetables. And that's what we're gonna do. And then also, per my family, they love bread. So I am going to be trying some baguettes just to have something on the side. I've never made a baguette before. And my bagels, I think I'm gonna try to redo those tomorrow because the cinnamon ones did not turn out the way that I wanted. The regular ones did, but I think I want them a little bit more fluffy. So I think I'm gonna try to use a little bit less freshly milled flour, a little bit more just like bread flour and play with that ratio and boil them on a little bit higher temperature and see if that gives it that better exterior that I'm looking for. So I think I'm gonna try that tomorrow. But for today, I'm going to make some French baguettes. It's just all recipes in the bread machine. I'm gonna do 50% freshly milled, 50% bread flour, and start there and see you know, how I like that. So I'm gonna get that started. I will let you know how they turn out. Now, when I make bread, I always try to warm up my liquid. It's just a habit. The recipe doesn't call for that, but that's just what I always do. And then I always try to use like honey instead of refined white sugar. It's just a preference. This recipe does call for sugar, but I'm gonna use honey just because it's a preference. But you'll kind of learn what you like and what you don't like as you do it. I tell you, this baguette does not call for any oil. I'm not gonna put it in since the recipe doesn't call for it, but usually with breads, I put oil. I'll need to Google why. Maybe it makes it softer and the baguette you don't really want soft, maybe. All right, it calls for 2.5 cups of flour. And I don't know exactly what I milled, so we'll just kind of see what this turns out to be. All right, there's 1/2 cup. I'm gonna do this over the sink. All right, so that's a little bit less than 1 cup. Well, a little less than 1 cup of freshly milled flour. So I'm gonna do 1 and like 3/4 cups of bread flour. Because I find it always easier to add more flour than to add water. So I'd rather it be a little bit stickier dough. And I have a feeling that this is gonna be a stickier dough anyway. I don't know that for sure, but I just think it will be. All right, I'm just gonna put this in the bread machine, let it do its dough cycle, and then I'll shape it and bake it. All right, the next thing I want to pre-make is actually the marinade, the honey garlic marinade. So it's just garlic, soy sauce, honey, and I'm gonna use some sesame seed oil because I don't have sesame seeds. So it's gonna be similar to what I make with my cucumbers, but a little bit different, not spicy, but I do want to go ahead and make a double batch of that, so. And all the recipes I use will be linked below. All right, so this recipe calls for 6 tablespoons of soy sauce. I'm gonna use coconut aminos. That's just what we prefer using. A lot of coconut aminos. I'm just gonna do 1 tablespoon of the sesame oil. Not quite. I'm actually gonna do about half a tablespoon of the sesame oil. All right, it calls for 4 tablespoons of honey, so I'm gonna do 8 since I'm doing a double batch. Probably should use a bigger jar. If you're gonna get dirty, you might as well get all the honey out. I realized this week I used so much honey. I've used like that much in, I guess, 2 weeks. It's crazy. All right, the last thing is just cutting up the garlic, and then I will shake this and put it in the fridge, and it'll be ready to go for tonight.
Follow me out, down to the bay. Forget all the worries when you're with me. Let every wave gently kiss away some of the hardness from those brief yet gloomy days.
You just get right into it, don't you? Let me see the inside of it. Okay.
How was it?
Pretty good. Okay, no. That won't make it.
It was very good.
Okay, so I redid the bagels today, and I did a little bit more bread flour. I actually used 300 grams of freshly milled soft white wheat and 160 grams of bread flour, and the dough already feels way better. So I think we're off to a better start. I'm gonna let these proof in the oven with just the light on, just warming up a little bit. I'm gonna try to boil it with a lot more water, like a taller pot, and a lot hotter water, like actually boiling, and see if that helps as well. Okay, so the water is boiling more than the other day. These rose so much better. So I'm going to try to boil them and see if these will turn out better than the ones did yesterday. Okay, the timer for the bagels are finished. I'm just gonna take a peek. Oh yeah, they're quite brown. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take them out and let them cool down. So they look pretty good. I did put coarse sea salt on a couple of them. The honey did leave like a little bit of a ring on some of them, which was kind of odd. I don't really understand that. They feel nice, but I don't know, cause like they're kind of, if you can see on the inside, like a little bit gooey. I don't know why the outside would get so hard, but like right here doesn't bake. I don't know if that's normal. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research and see about that. You can really see it on this one. Like it's just, I don't know. But they look way better than last time, so we are getting there. Okay, so I just made a regular loaf of bread, but I baked it in the oven instead of in the bread machine. I am actually gonna take this to my best friend's parent as a thank you because they actually gave us some olive oils. This one was actually a gift from my dad for his 60th birthday. And then my best friend's dad gave us this to refill the bottle, which was so nice. So I'm gonna refill my dad's bottle, and then I'm actually gonna take the leftovers with me when I go back to my place. And then they also gifted us this. I'm gonna mess it up. Aberquina, I think that's how they said it. Anyway, this is supposed to taste amazing. I've tasted it just as is, and it is very, very, very good, which I thought this one was really, really good, but apparently this is like an everyday kind of like you can cook with it. Thought it was delicious, but this one's really good. And she actually said to put a little bit of pepper. My friend's mom said to put a little bit of pepper and rosemary and let it sit for just a couple minutes and then use it with the bread. So I think I might make another loaf for me and my family to try that tonight.
Okay, so I'm now working on my second loaf of bread. This one I'm gonna add cinnamon to, and I added another half of a tablespoon of honey to it because I want it to be like a honey cinnamon bread. I'm gonna do everything exactly the same except for the cinnamon and a little bit of extra honey. And then once this bakes, I'm going to make some whipped honey butter. So I'm gonna take this butter out of the fridge and let it come to room temperature, and I'll bring you back when I whip it with honey. Oh yeah, and I'm adding 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Also for this loaf, I've decided I'm gonna just bake it in the zojirushi just for ease, and I'm gonna do it on the wheat cycle because I had mostly fresh milled flour in there, and I'm also gonna watch it because I may have to add some extra water. Freshly milled flour just takes more water than regular flour, so I'll keep an eye on it.
This bread turned out so good, especially since all I did was add some cinnamon, add a little extra honey, and then whip the honey butter, which by the way, the honey butter was better once it sat in the fridge for like 24 hours. So just FYI on that. But it really turned out amazing. I will link all the recipes that I used below and anything that I did differently. And here's my dad's thought on the honey butter.
Are you gonna taste it and tell me?
Let's see here.
You have to be honest though.
Very good.
Is it? Can you taste the cinnamon?
Mm-hmm.
I decided to have a piece with some cottage cheese and honey, and it was honestly delicious. So thanks for watching, and I really do hope you have a wonderful day.